This is the news station, WNEP 16.
Good evening, I'm Nolan Johannes. Karen Harch has the night off. At some time or another, your life or the life of someone you know may depend on an ambulance. But in Nanticoke, the people have found that they can't depend on their ambulance. The emergency vehicle was on its way to a medical call today when the engine caught on fire. Nanticoke officials tonight decided to buy a new ambulance, but for the next few months, people in Nanticoke will have to depend on a rented one. And as Night Beat reporter Bob Costantini says, the ambulance problems are nothing new to Nanticoke.
Ask any of these men and they'll tell you the ambulance has had problems from the beginning. This is all that's left of the engine. Officials think the fire started somewhere in the engine's electrical system because there have been many electrical problems in the ambulance since it was bought in 1979. There have also been other major repairs needed.
We replaced several things in it: camshaft, alternator. We just put a $300 radiator in there.
One medic was burned on the fingers by the fire, which occurred on Espy Street in Nanticoke while the ambulance was going to a routine pickup. There was no patient in the back, but the ambulance has broken down when there was. And crew members admit
we've been lucky. We have very good mutual aid with the surrounding communities with us, and if we do sense there is something happening with the unit out of the ordinary, we can call them and they come in to assist us right away.
Some people in Nanticoke say the fire points out the problem of having only one ambulance.
I've never seen anything like this town for almost 14,000 people, one ambulance.
Another resident says despite the problems, the ambulance crew has always been there when he needed it.
Different times for me, for the wife, and all. So as far as I'm concerned, they were right on the ball.
The motor fire is the last problem the Nanticoke ambulance crew will have with this vehicle. The treatment area back here can actually be removed from the chassis and put onto another chassis. Buying that other chassis will cost about $20,000, but as one crew member put it, it's good to be getting rid of this lemon. Bob Costantini, Newswatch 16, Nanticoke.
Some people who live near the Yakavazi landfill in Old Forge are worried about danger from the drills in the dump. The parents of school children met with Environmental Protection Agency officials tonight. They wanted to know if the drilling that will start next month at the toxic waste dump might threaten their kids in schools close to the landfill. The EPA assured the parents the drilling will not be done during school hours. The tests will determine what's in the water under the illegal chemical waste dump. The EPA was there today to take soil samples. Striking nurses in Hazleton will try to reach an agreement with St. Joseph's Hospital later this week. The licensed practical nurses have been walking the picket lines outside the hospital for almost 2 weeks now. On Thursday, the union and hospital will sit down to negotiate. In the meantime, the hospital's reporting no problems because of the nurses' strike in Hazleton. Beginning next month, some people who want to get into state nursing homes in Luzerne and Wyoming counties will have to show they need the care. The Department of Aging will begin a screening process for Medicaid patients. The department wants to make sure that the space available at state nursing homes goes to the truly needy. That program is being tested in our area. If there are no problems, the nursing home screening process will be used statewide next year. Last week we told you about some possible problems at the Wyoming Valley Sanitary Authority. The state claimed authority members were wasting your tax money. Tonight, Newswatch 16's Bob Reynolds reports that there may also have been problems with a firm that keeps track of the authority's money. All right, we're apparently having some problem with that, so we hope we can bring that story to you a little bit later on. Next, a Newswatch 16 update, meteorologist Tom Clark with his forecast for a change in the weather. Plus, a little bit later, we'll have the results of your forecast for the future of Penn State's football season. We'll be right back.
15 and Miami has a touchdown!
Hello, I'm Jimmy Cephalo of the Miami Dolphins. I grew up in Pittston, and I love this area of Pennsylvania. But I don't like what's happening to some of our youngsters in this area and throughout the country: drugs and alcohol. Drugs and alcohol make you think that you're stronger, faster, and smarter, but they actually make you slower, less coherent, and weaker. Stay away from them. Do yourself a favor. They're only trouble.
Well, let's see. At 6 o'clock, we found out that we had established a new record for a hottest day for this September day. Let's find out if we're going to have the same thing tomorrow. When is it all going to end, Tom?
Nolan, one more day of hot weather this summer. Okay, so keep your pool full for at least for one more day. Tonight, the last clear, dry, comfortable night of summer. It is very nice outside at this late hour. Tomorrow night, the clouds begin to roll in, and that will set us up for another big change coming in the weather, and I'm kind of excited about this one. We'll talk about it in just a moment. Now, we have a moon overhead tonight. This is how it looked just a few short hours ago, as through the camera lens of one of our photographers. Now, take a look at the leaves there, twinkling in the breeze. And that's kind of a nice sight. It's beautiful out here. Look at the temperature. It now stands at 71 degrees. The humidity is 60%. The wind very light from the south, and the barometer is now on the rise. Now you may hear I'm having some competition from a cricket nearby. The high today was 90. That is the record. It broke the old record of 88 set way back in 1906. And the low this morning was a muggy 60, far from the record low of 34 set back in 1959. Newswatch 16's color satellite photograph shows all the clear air now from Pennsylvania all the way out across the Ohio Valley. Some flooding rains down in Houston, Texas earlier today, 7.5 inches in some areas down that way. But we go to the north and we find the leading edge of some very, I'd say, cold air coming down from Canada. A big outbreak of cold air. There are the snow-producing clouds over Montana. Some heavy thunderstorms now stretching west of the Great Lakes, leading the way for that cold air to move towards Pennsylvania. As we go to the western view, there are the snow clouds over Montana, as much as a half foot in some places. One town in the mountains of Montana, 17 inches of snow fell last night. Readings up there tonight will drop down into the teens in portions of Montana and Wyoming. There's a tropical low coming up towards California. Manuel will drop some heavy rains tonight over the mountains of southern California. Let's go to our forecast for tonight. It looks like this will be a mild, moonlit night. Some crickets may be chirping out your window as well. 64 in Towanda, 62 in Harding tonight, 59 down in Hazleton for the low, 63 in Selinsgrove, and about 64, the mild low tonight out in Muncie. Now tomorrow, simply hot and windy. Look at that, 88 in Dunmore. How about it? 85 in Powell, 91 in Bloomsburg. You won't see temperatures like this, perhaps, for the rest of the year. 90 down in Pottsville for the high tomorrow. Look at that arrow indicating your wind velocity tomorrow, coming out of the southwest up to 20 miles per hour at times in the afternoon. Look at your highs across the country tomorrow. 80s in the east, but look at those highs in the northern plains. Only in the 40s tomorrow. And some of that air is moving our way. Now, hot tomorrow, 88 degrees, and then moving into Wednesday, we'll have some rain by Wednesday morning. As the leading edge of colder air moves in, showers on Wednesday, only about 70, dropping down to only about 60 for daytime highs on Thursday and Friday, very much like autumn on Friday, the first day of autumn. Nolan, that 88 tomorrow will tie the all-time record for the date set back in 1934.
Okay, and that was quite a duet, you and that cricket.
Isn't that something?
Accompanied by an 18-wheeler out on Route 81.
It's great out here. Yeah.
Thanks, Tom. Well, we've already told you this once. Let's say it again. Last week we told you about some possible problems at the Wyoming Valley Sanitary Authority, with the state claiming that authority members were wasting your tax money. Now we're ready with that report from Newswatch 16's Bob Reynolds, who reports also that there may have been some problems with a firm that keeps track of the authority's money.
The Wyoming Valley Sanitary Authority is a big business which takes in big bucks, $1.5 million a year. That's why independent auditors are hired to keep tabs on the way the authority spends ratepayers' money. But one authority official admits its auditors did not question $50,000 spent by the authority board members on trips. The authority's auditors also did not point out allegations that board member Joseph Saraceno of West Pittston may have broken the law by padding his expense account. It was the State Auditor General's office which blew the whistle last week.
At several meetings I refused to approve audits that had this amount of travel time in, because at one time I estimated it was as much as 5% of all the rates collected were being expended on trips. I think that's excessive. Why it wasn't picked up, I really cannot say, because I haven't done the audit.
Why did the Auditor General come in here with one audit and find these alleged discrepancies? Okay, when your auditors, who are in here year in and year out, apparently did not come up with them?
You'll have to ask the man who audited the books.
We did just that. We came here to the offices of Andrew Kowalczyk, the man who audits the Sanitary Authority's books, but he declined to talk to us. But the State Auditor General's office is talking and saying that this is a serious problem and a statewide problem. The Auditor General's office claims that independent auditors sometimes do not do thorough investigations because, number one, they're not getting paid enough money to do so, or number two, that they're being asked to criticize the very people who are hiring them. The Auditor General's office says, whatever the case, you're not getting your money's worth. Bob Reynolds, Newswatch 16, Luzerne County.
And coming up, the results of our Penn State football poll.
Hey, Joe.
The results are in. On Newswatch 16 at 6 tonight, we asked your opinion. Do you think Penn State will have a winning season? Well, apparently there was a lot of optimistic fans out there. 61% of those of you who answered our unscientific telephone poll said yes, Penn State will salvage a winning season this year. 39% weren't so sure. They said no, Penn State will most likely end up with a losing record at the end of this year's college football season. So, most of you agreed with Joe, who said earlier on our 6 o'clock show that they will have indeed a winning season, hopefully, despite the heavy schedule.
5 people they play are in the top 20 coming up. The thing you got to remember, I think, about Penn State is when they find out what their problem is, they usually get it solved. The offense is a perfect example. It took a couple of games, but they seem to have that one fixed. Now, there's another problem.
And lousy tackling by Penn State. That's as poor a tackling football team as I've ever been associated with. And that's not to take anything away from the Iowa backs, but we just didn't get the job done on defense.
Those are mighty harsh words about a defense that was supposed to be the strength of this football team. Everyone knew there were offensive problems, and the first 2 games of the year proved that. But no one figured people would be able to move up and down the field at will. 13th-ranked Iowa gained nearly 600 yards on the way to 6 touchdowns. That kind of stuff is unheard of.
Tackling was poor. We missed tackles that we shouldn't have. We didn't wrap up and take people back. A couple times he slipped around back there, and that can hurt a man-to-man defense there. Then they hit big plays, and that could really be disheartening to the defensive unit.
Hamilton out of Nanticoke Area High School, Robinson, linebacker Scott Radisek, all are quality kids who played important roles in last year's championship team. They were supposed to provide the leadership and set the example for this year's group. But 3 or 4 or 5 people do not a defense make. And unless Paterno can find some answers or some kids, the Lions will be chewed up by the tough schedule that lies ahead.
It's Temple Saturday in Philadelphia, and you better believe the Owls figure they've got themselves the best chance they've had of beating Penn State in years. 3 weeks now into the high school football season, and we are starting to get a real good feel of who the top teams are. We do have some new people in the Super 16. At number 16, the new kids on the block, Hanover area Hawkeyes. They've racked up 88 points in 3 games and have yet surrendered a point. Holding steady are number 15, Towanda, number 14, Honesdale, they're cooking, number 13, Mount Carmel, number 12, Scranton Prep, and number 11, Lakeland. Falling to number 10 from number 3, Valley View, after that big shutout loss to North Pocono Friday night. Number 9, Shikellamy. Number 8, Pittston area. Number 7, Wyoming area. Moving up from 9 to number 6, Montoursville. Then moving up to the number 5 position from number 10, the Pottsville Crimson Tide. Number 4, okay, North Pocono, big win the other night. You're number 4 now. Number 3, Wyoming Valley West. Number 2, Coughlin. And our number 1 team for the 3rd straight week, the Berwick Bulldogs. Now, if you're looking ahead to the weekend, Coughlin at Mount Carmel, and that should be a good one. It's the Super 16 game of the week. Looking ahead to tonight, Miami and Los Angeles, that's the Raiders. Both are undefeated, and that makes for a terrific Monday night game, 9 o'clock here on 16. Some of the best fishing of the year. You know what? Going on right now. fall bass fishing, you just can't beat it. This week's Wildlife Watch takes us to a tournament held yesterday at Prompton Dam in Wayne County. It was a pick-your-partner tournament. 45 boats were entered, 90 contestants, total fish caught 70, 69 they were returned live. The first place people, Greg Walsh, you've seen him on Pennsylvania Outdoor Life, and his partner, Chet Williams. They caught a dozen bass between them for a total weight of 18 pounds, 13 ounces. Mike Savinsky, Bill Clark were a distant second with 9 bass and a total weight of 13 pounds, 1 ounce. In the lunker category, Paul Portnova caught a 4-pound, 8-ounce walleye. Ed Skoransky grabbed a beautiful 35-inch, 8-pound muskie, and Dave Lemanchik a 5-pound, 14-ounce bass. Now, for those of you who don't go for the tournament fishing but look forward to just getting out for yourself, your favorite spot, take a look at tomorrow's forecast. There it is. 1:15 in the afternoon. Isn't that nice? A little leisurely afternoon. That's all of it. Give tonight your best shot. I'll see you after the football game.
All right. How do you think the fans are going to vote on our telephone poll on Penn State?
Winning season.
Winning season.
Yes.
All right. We'll see.
Except for those who were booing the other night.
Well, there's always a few of those, right? And there's a new way for people in Scranton to keep healthy. Newswatch 16 will fill you in on that when we come back.
If it happened, we were there. Newswatch 16 is everywhere.
Pennsylvania is known for its hundreds of miles of unusual hiking trails, but there's one trail in Lackawanna County that's really different. It's called the Wells Fargo Wheelchair Sports Course, and it's now open at Scranton's McDade Park. The trail is specially designed for the physically disabled. There are a total of 20 activities along that trail to help handicapped people build strength, mobility, fitness, and wheelchair control. The trail is free, and it's open during regular park hours. It was dedicated at the Lackawanna County Park today to mark National Rehabilitation Week. Enjoy your evening. Thanks for being with us.